From a neutral's point of view, I guess it has been good to see West Indies Test cricket and West Indies fast bowlers in particular doing what you associate West Indies fast bowlers with doing.
Yeah, I've always said world cricket is dominated by the fast bowler. So if you have a number of fast bowlers playing around the world at one time, then that drags the quality of cricket up. I think the lack of fast bowlers in world cricket sort of drags the quality of cricket down. And we saw that years ago. You know, when I first started in '93, through that era of '93, 2003, there were some seriously well-paced pace attacks around the world with Australia. Even New Zealand had good strong pace attack, Pakistan, even India, West Indies in particular. So yeah, and that sort of era was strong fast bowling. Now it's not as strong, not as quick. That's one of the reasons why I think England struggled with the likes of the Australians, with Mitchell Johnson, the pace, the attack, and that was one of the fundamental reasons why Australia were dominant 4 or 5 years ago. Because they had a strong pace attack. Now the West Indies are coming back. It's sort of gone in a swings and roundabouts the last 20 years. In '93, where there were some seriously quick West Indian bowlers, Courtney Walsh, Curtly Ambrose, and you had the likes of Bishop, you had Kenneth Benjamins coming through. You had some good pace attacks of the West Indies. And then obviously that died off to the back end of Curtly and Courtney's career, 2003. So luckily, all those years of being abused by the West Indies prior, we managed in 2001 to get our own back.
We'll touch on that again shortly, but you mentioned the two names there, Ambrose and Walsh. What was it like playing against those two?
Courtney's been an old friend of mine for many years. I used to get on very well with Courtney. Jimmy Adams was a very good old friend of mine as well. Curtly was a quiet, sort of silent assassin. He didn't say a lot, and when he did, it was usually very detrimental. But the two of them, as far as the pace attack, they held up the West Indies as a team, and they kept them at the top of the pecking order for a very long time. And they were on the two of them were on the back of the Malcolm Marshalls and their Michael Holdings and their era. So there was a nice flux of players coming through, of fast bowlers coming through at that era. So when they bowed out in that particular series in 2001, there was a massive hole that they created in West Indies cricket.
From your point of view, I guess a lot of people talk about maybe your finest moment in an England shirt, or certainly one of them being playing against the West Indies at Lord's. Was that for you one of the highlights?
Yeah, it was. England was in a bit of turmoil in '99, around '98, '99. We had a terrible, disastrous series against New Zealand here in the UK. Then we'd had new management under the likes of Duncan Fletcher and Nasser Hussain as far as the captain was concerned. And from that period on, we started to move forward as a team. We started to understand what the individuals were all about. We understood what those players were trying to achieve. And with the leadership through Duncan and Nas, English cricket started to actually push its way through to becoming a very strong side, world-class side. And that sort of started in Sri Lanka, when we won in Sri Lanka, and also in Pakistan for the first time. But also, it had a knock-on effect building to that series against the West Indies. So for me, my best, I thought the best game I ever played in, or should I say the best atmosphere I ever played in, was at Lord's in 2001.
And was that the best you've ever bowled?
It's not the best I've ever bowled. It was quite a short little career in the second, a short little stint in the second innings. But as far as how everything went together and how things worked and how everything gelled, yeah, that was probably that one period where everything was going well.
It was a great reaction, I think, wasn't it, from the players, because I think there's the classic shot of someone reading a newspaper with a headline saying something about England being dreadful, and then 30 seconds later a wicket goes, and then West Indian after West Indian was back in the hutch. Did you take particular satisfaction given how negative the press had been? Well,
the press were quite right to do that, because we lost the first test and we went to Lord's and we were looking down the gun. And the facts were we were terrible. I didn't bowl particularly well in that first innings at Lord's. In fact, I didn't really turn up, and after the second innings, I remember the jubilation of what we did. I remember in a press conference, Nasser Hussain basically said that was the day Andy Caddick decided to get out of bed and bowl. And that was it's just one of those things that clicked. So as far as English cricket was concerned in that period, it was all building up to that, and I think that was just through the hard effort from the 2 years before and the result from those efforts.
You had another impressive five for not very many runs at all up at Headingley as well. Talk us through that game. Was that another one of your highlights?
Yeah, there was those two back-to-back games were brilliant, and as far as I was concerned, that was for me my series. I had some good series against New Zealand here in England a couple of years before, '99, and then again, that just was when I was basically cruising. A lot of people would say that, as far as I was concerned, I was the sort of player that you just threw the ball to and just kept bowling, which I did for Somerset for all those years, and that was one of the things I just loved to bowl, and that was the series that you just got to give them the ball and say get on with it. But the funny thing about Headingley was Darren Goffey had bowled so well both at Lords and at Headingley, and yet I pipped him at the post by getting the wickets that the two fifers are the highlights of what I felt was my time as far as the bowler was concerned. But again, there's one of those fundamental things with me. I love bowling up a hill. Whether it was here at Taunton from the river end, which was up a hill, or whether it's at Lords up from the nursery end, or Headingley up from the grandstand end, I felt more comfortable bowling up the hill into the wicket. And especially at Headingley, Nasser was getting me to bowl down the hill, and I didn't, because Goffey wanted to bowl up the hill. So it was quite a strange feeling that I was trying to tell Nas, no, I need to bowl that end, I need to bowl that end. And eventually, when he gave me that ball and he got me to bowl that end, that's when things all happened.
You're suggesting that Darren Goff got his own way at Headingley, surely?
Darren Goff always got his own way. He was, is one of his classic sayings with me was, "Caddy, you're so good, you don't need to bowl with the wind or down a hill." That's one of the nice rivalry things. That was one of the greatest things about myself and Darren. We had that rivalry both on the field and off the field. We had good banter, and we had just had some fun.